Welcome back. We are here for the Between Darkened Mirrors, episode 19. So we do have a mask, I think, outstanding from last time, and we're going to go ahead and start off the session with that, and then we will go through the rest of it. So, whenever you're ready.
So this one is Mask of the Past. Narrate a flashback when your employer behaved in a way that was utterly indifferent to your dignity. And so the camera, our ever faithful companion, shows us a resplendent door. The wood is deep, dark, and well cared for. In the middle of this door sits an emblem of London's pride on the world. The three letters carved into the crest serve as a regal reminder of the wonders that lay within. And though Whitmore has never seen what lays beyond this door, he can guess. Whitmore's hand comes into the frame, centers itself on the three well-known letters, R-E-C, the Royal Explorers Club. Whitmore raps on the door, once, twice, and before the third time is interrupted by a small bell ringing inside. The third knock is still delayed further as Whitmore looks to the sky, checking the time against the rapidly approaching sunset. Whitmore lets out a deep sigh, thinking of the roast sitting in Hargrave House's oven, hoping the meat has not gotten too dry. After what seems like far too long, a young man, dressed in a similar outfit to Whitmore's, opens the door. The servants' entrance is around back. This entrance is for members, the young man says, beginning to close the door before Whitmore even can explain himself. Interrupting the ceremonial act of kicking Whitmore to the curb, he interjects, I'm actually here to pick up Lord James Campbell-Hughes for a dinner appointment. The young man looks Whitmore up and down, assessing him, before finally speaking. I see. Unfortunately, the Royal Explorers Club has already started its dinner service. Seeing the desperation in Whitmore's eyes, the young man quickly follows up with, but I will check to see if Lord Campbell-Hughes is available. The door to the REC once again closes. Whitmore stands on the step. Dinner almost done. A new hunter arriving at Hargrave House. Supposed to arrive at 7, and Lord James Campbell-Hughes was going to miss this? Whitmore paces the steps of the REC, wondering what could be more important than a full roast dinner cooked by someone who cares for Lord James Campbell-Hughes and an opportunity to meet his new companion. Finally, the door opens. The young man pops his head out and addresses Whitmore, chuffing. Oh, you're still here. Lord James Campbell-Hughes has just been served dinner and is unavailable tonight. The young man begins to close the door, marking Whitmore's end to an attempt at a nice meal together, with all of the members of Hargrave House gathered around the dining room table. Whitmore looks longingly, desperately at the closing door, knowing that there's nothing more to do other than walk home, check on the roast, and start the potatoes for the mash. However, just before the door closes, Whitmore clears his throat, asking a question he shouldn't ask. What is Lord James Campbell-Hughes having for dinner this evening? The door stops closing as the young servant simply replies, he special ordered a full roast dinner with potatoes.
So sorry, Whitmore. All right. So with that, sheesh, we begin day phase. So this is your opportunity. excuse me. No new threats will be introduced as we have 3 active threats still on the board. Yay. Um, let's just do a quick review. So, Creature of Cremorne Gardens, you have a question: is it real? What's the creature want? Complexity 4, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clues on the board. And then for West End Wraith, complexity 6 question: if the wraith seeks to help, are they trying to protect their target from an imminent danger or right an old wrong? You only have 1, 2, 3, 4 clues for the complexity 6. And the beetle is new from before, and that is currently a threshold question of complexity 2. Did an experience at the circus lead to the beetle's transformation, or was his transformation a result of his own prayers? And you only have 2 clues on the board. Although, I mean, if you can make them work, then you would just be doing a straight roll for that if you wanted to answer it tonight. So yeah. Um, if you remember what happened last time, fantastic. You know, 1 or 2 lines of previously on, and then we can commence with the day phase in full. And if
Whitmore
you don't, no
almost
worries.
drowned,
That is
dragged to the watery depths by the creature before heroically being rescued by Doc and then heroically rescuing Doc.
Yeah, we got quite a bit on the creature, and I think we could figure it out. I think we can answer that question for sure. Um, and through the help of the I can't remember his name, the dock worker,
Oh, Abel Knox, yeah.
Abenox, we were able to I think we've got plenty on that. Um, yeah, it was a very waterlogged, wet night phase.
And um, for Victor, he went to the theater and faced off against the West End Wraith. Um, got some clues along the way, but basically he was ejected from the theater um, due to the West End Wraith's preparations beforehand.
Indeed. And unfortunately, Doc's player is unable to join us for this evening, but we will hopefully see Doc the next session. All right. So, given that, I see that 2 of you have conditions. If you want to keep them for the rest of day phase, you can, or you could utilize a vulnerable move to stumble on a clue or ask, you know, the other a question. You just need a vice in play to activate the vulnerable move.
What do you think what do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I'm down to do a vulnerable move. I was about to say, since the 2 of us are the only ones with conditions, I
Yeah,
believe.
and so also I think I want to say Armstrong told um, Lord James Campbell-Hughes about the beetle, the insect, and I think I said that me and Sir Anthony would go check it out because I don't know anything about human transformations into bugs. So I think is that what we were going to do? Because I think you said this is over my head or something. I can't remember.
Yeah. Or like it's just like weird. Like he'll still do it. It's part of the docket. Like it's a job we have to complete, but it definitely isn't just a quick here's the insect to human potion in a very Emperor's New Groove sort of fashion that Victor was hoping for.
So I think we can have a scene where we're talking about that case, and we can do a vulnerable scene then.
I will remind you that Victor found out from the um, one of his reporter friends that the circus is moving in on Harsh and will be picking up their purchase, you know, probably sometime today. Just so you know.
Do you have any particular? Do you want it to be like the carriage ride to wherever, and Lord Antony can be in the carriage with us just for set dressing?
Notes. That sounds good.
Yeah. I believe every Hargrave House carriage has gin in it, or at least the ones Lord James Campbell-Hughes rides in.
I think I just like maybe carry like a hip flask or something.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. That works too.
I've got a matching set here. Sir
It would
Anthony.
also be in your lunch.
It's true.
That's
So,
what that's our plans. So I don't know about the rest of you.
mhm.
That's my plans.
Uh, oh, and then after, I think where when Lord James Campbell-Hughes gets dropped off at the Beadle, we haven't used this move a lot, but it seems very appropriate to the Beadle mystery. The Father O'Donnell confessionary. When Father O'Donnell becomes a recurring side character, you get one extra clue on information move when you attend confession with him and ask for guidance on the spiritual. And because one of the questions is specifically, did prayer turn him into this? I might be it might also be fun to see Victor in a confessional.
Oh God. Anyway, are you guys doing enacting the vulnerable move first on the way to the?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I thought we were telling everybody what our plans are for this day phase before we do that.
Okay.
I don't
What?
know. I don't want to step on anybody's toes.
Yeah. Whitmore, what are
Um,
you planning on doing?
it's a debate between going to see Jenny Johnston's ghost to discuss the West End Wraith,
Yeah.
or we have yet to actually talk to Billy Beaumont about the West End Wraith.
Oh. Like
Lady
how? What
Pipewell.
lady? What Lady Pipewell thinks about
Yes.
Western?
We've yet to actually talk to the lead actress.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, like that is
But
up to you.
I think it'd be more interesting to go see Jenny Johnston's ghost as only Whitmore can.
Okay. Yeah. For sure. Okay. Great. All right. So let's go ahead and enact the vulnerable move first. Just tell me, excuse me, what vice is in play for this?
Definitely Jen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think um, as the scene opens up, we see Victor take one of the flasks from Lord James Campbell-Hughes. He will take a sip of it. Your face is like, wow, this is good stuff. And then take some of the gin, put it on a rag, and then rub it on some bruises he has along his face. Like a lot, it's a lot of like annoying splinters that's in him. And like annoying splinters to him is like legit pieces of wood in his body that he's just like pulling out and like putting the gin over the top of it. And he goes, if I never see another theater again in my life, I would die a happier man. Lord James Campbell-Hughes.
It's funny that you should say that because back back during the days of Lord Cromwell, he tried to enact a law here in London outlawing all theater, and he was successful for a few years. And I've been talking to some legal experts about bringing that back. It
If
just
you
seems
need
safer
if
in
you
these parts of London.
need some sort of um leverage on that, some um social leverage, I'm sure I can get some of the families on my side of monster hunters. There's plenty of, you know, old ghosts and tombs that we have to keep track of for all these old families and the horrible things they did that we kind of do the rounds upon. And maybe if they don't enact this law, those don't get checked on.
Sir Anthony's mouth is like, what? And then and I'm like, this is only half in jest.
Hmm.
I'm just I think the theater in all of its glamour, I think it somehow is tied to the um the person behind all this darkness and in London. And I I have I don't have any family members left, but I have some that hold the theater very near and dear to their hearts when they were alive, and I don't want to. I wouldn't want to tarnish their memory by outlawing it, but it would make our jobs a lot easier, gentlemen.
So much easier. So much easier. The amount of things that come from the theater. Uh weird performers, the Wraith. Strange the strange play we had, like weird artistic otherworldly things. There's general theater ghosts, people who dress up as monsters and and turn out believing they are. It's amazing just how much trouble a theater can bring to a city.
Just just think, Victor, about an opera, a 6 hour long opera. We would never be able to
Uh,
combat that. We would never be able to combat something like that.
if I had a pence for every opera that accidentally hired a siren, it's or banshees, sirens or banshees. It's always one of the two. Sometimes they're the same. People can't really tell the difference. Sometimes I can't tell the difference. Sometimes.
I'm glad we're talking about this in the light of day because it's really starting to look. I think the mirrors are the windows of the carriage are starting to ice over at the very mention of these otherworldly beings.
But yes, I am sorry about was it a death that happened recently or a family member that's
No, I
passed
just
for
no, these were in the past, but sometimes you remember.
yes. Quite recently, a death of someone very close to me came back around. I think I felt like maybe the going to the theater is going to be more enjoyable, just chasing down just a guy. But I think having that memory just lingering in the background really just tarnished the whole experience for me. He would have loved if there was a place he fought best. It was a theater. He just knew how to just navigate the rigging to get that one final blow.
My God, man, the rigging. I totally forgot about the rigging.
So much rigging.
Well, I'm glad Whitmore's on this one because
Yes.
he'll know to look up while I'm looking down.
And something tells me this person in the background, I believe we have discussed them before, alluded to them, the person you have ties with, Lord James Campbell-Hughes. Something tells me we're getting close to it, right? I can just sense a climax coming.
I think they are throwing everything they have at us,
Mm.
opening up reality and allowing things in that should not be here. So we must be getting close. We must be getting close.
So far, my time here at Hargrave House has been a nice sabbatical for me. But this one, this one threat we face, this one is serious. If I knew they weren't busy, I would call in more members of the great families. But I feel like it's just going to be you, me, an American, and Whitmore.
What if Victor? What if some of the great houses received a call from Her Majesty Queen Victoria herself?
Well, if that were the case, we can probably like two. I think two would be good.
I'm on it. Here's your stop, Victor.
Very good.
We'll talk more about this at Hargrave House.
All right.
Unless out of character, unless you wanted to ask a question. Do I ask a question or do you ask a question?
No, Victor would ask you a question, or you would invite Victor to ask you a question about your past, or you would stumble on a clue since it's your advice, Lord James.
And we need the clues, right?
Yeah. Well, these for two of the things. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go. I'll go with the clue.
Okay. And you don't have to come up with it now. You could just do a TBD on whatever threat you want to add the clue to
Okay.
while you're thinking about it. Okay. All right. Let's take it over to Whitmore. So, Whitmore, you find yourself, let's see, because it was underground and the vampire had taken Jenny. And fortunately, she's now a ghost. I think maybe you've heard rumors, or maybe you've been stopping by just because. And this is how you know Jenny is now that very knowledgeable ghost. But you seem to be the only one that can see her. Um, so I think she's still flitting around the opium den as if she hasn't lost her duty to her patrons. Some of them will say that they kind of still see Jenny in the clouds of their smoke.
That's right, they should. Given that Whitmore was at the opium den during the Limehouse lurker, he'd like to see if he can find his way into like Jenny's back office,
Hmm.
just to sit and see if the two of them could have just a private conversation.
I mean, it is now occupied, of course, by one of her nephews who have taken
Mhm.
over since she passed. So, um, maybe,
A simple walk around the Limehouse
yeah,
district would also work.
yeah, that should be fine. Let's take a look at the move here. Give me a second. Johnny Johnson. Okay, counselors. One extra clue on the information move. Council about events in East London. Um, okay, so I'm geographically brain dead. So East London versus West End. Don't ask. I'm okay with this. This is fine.
I was more going for about about a specter and spirit rather than
Ah,
location,
nice, nice, nice.
because she is in fact a ghost.
Okay, nice. And again, I accept it. All right, great. Blah, blah. Yeah, maybe you take a walk around uh Limehouse, and maybe she falls into step with you because you walk some old paths that she has as she makes her rounds, or she would go about and get supplies or check on the people in the neighborhood and such. You hear her voice flitting near you, next to you, speaking in your ear, perhaps, Whitmore.
Whitmore,
What are you doing here? Are you going for a smoke?
Miss Johnson, it's not my habit of choice, but I was actually here looking for you.
Me?
Yes. I'm sure you're familiar with Hargrave House. We've unfortunately encountered a much more monstrative spirit than yourself, threatening an upstanding theater in the West End. And it is our solemn duty to make sure that the theater is safe for all of London, as it is one of our crowning jewels that should never be squandered, from the works of William Shakespeare all the way through to the modern stage. And so I was hoping to inquire with you what you knew of specters, spirits, and more importantly, wraiths.
Are you talking about that ridiculous music hall in the West End? The Palais de Gaieté?
I
Highbrow,
certainly
it is
am.
not.
Does everything need to be highbrow? Can
No,
one not just enjoy the simple pleasures of a light laugh, of a simple smoke of an opium pipe?
very true. You must stop by and do my nephews good by partaking of the business.
For you, Miss Johnston, absolutely.
They don't see me.
Would would you like me to pass along a message, perhaps?
You
A
think they
note?
would believe you?
I don't know. I've never met them. Do you think they'd believe me?
Hmm.
Perhaps you've got some information that only you would know to pass along.
She contemplates this. Go ahead and roll information move with. You seem to be in good grace, so I'm not going to call presence on that one. I mean, what do you think about talking with a ghost that only you seem to be able to see?
As little as I want to call it sensitivity, knowing my numbers for it, it feels like it would be sensitivity.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, again, it's just very, very supernatural. So, um,
Just looking at personal quarters items.
right. Anything to help you out with this? Give you advantage.
I've got a love letter from Miriam Doyle, the slugger's lover. She passed on a note of thanks after the work we did. Whitmore offering to pass on a note to the nephews is passing on a note well after a threat's been resolved that continues on the story. I'd imagine I'd like to use that one if allowed.
Love it. Okay. So you get advantage. So 3d6, take the two highest for sensitivity, please.
It's a
Yeah.
12 with all three dice, so that becomes an unfortunate 11.
That's fun.
Not quite your mastermind clue there.
Still bump it up if you want.
An 11 is perfectly fine with Whitmore.
Okay, just making the offer. All right. Anyway, okay. So give me a second. I'm just gonna go. Sorry, I had to laugh at that for half a mo. Okay, so West End. She contemplates it for a little bit, especially when you mentioned that you would be able to take a message to her nephews. This state allows me all sorts of talk and whispers that usually I would only hear when my clients were happy and engaged in their smokes. But this, I think I remember from before I passed. There was something about Lily's parentage. There is some talk, or there was, that Lily is illegitimate. And the clue is a long held secret of someone's parentage. So it is in doubt whether that theater belongs to her. And that could be a source of contention. Because if it's not Lily, who is it? Will that help? Does that help?
It certainly should.
And speaking of parentage, I took my nephews in when their parents couldn't be here for them. And there's still difficulty. I'm not sure whether they are able to get here to London. But I kept something from them for these many years. And don't think I told them where I put it. And she will give you some Chinese characters. Like, well, she'll, what she'll do is, like, she will, she can't really interact with anything, but maybe she will try to
To sort of guide Whitmore's hand in drawing
guide Whitmore's
these.
hand in, like, drawing some of the Chinese characters, and will, like, say, show them this. It will lead them to a place where they will find a gift from their parents. I've held on to it for so long. I was expecting them to be here by now, but no, they never got a chance. But this will give them a chance. Can you do this for me, Whitmore? Mr. Whitmore?
Of course, Miss Johnston.
Maybe when you stop by to have a smoke, and you can give it to them for me.
Of course.
And she smiles, and then I think that she wisps away as if the smoke is dissipating on the light of day. And we're going to head back over to Victor. You've been dropped off at the St. Cecilia's Cathedral to meet with Father O'Donnell.
Yeah. Victor steps to the cathedral, looks up at it. It's a little nostalgic. It's like the first, I believe it's like the first one we did. Um, I think he looks at like the spot where he like climbed the building. He can still see like a dent to where he like put his hatchet in it just for like an extra boost. And he goes, simpler times, and walks into the church. And I guess he just like goes to one of the confessional booths and sits down.
Nice. All right, take a look at that move because I always forget what it involves. Here we go. One extra clue on the information moves to confession with him. Yep. Okay. Are you even familiar with, like, how it works? And, like, not you, but as in, like, do you think Victor is familiar with how it works, like, for getting into confessional?
No, I think he steps into one
Hmm.
and he goes like, "Are you all done? I don't know if you're supposed to tell me or not, but I don't really want to talk to. He's the one I'm looking for."
Um, I think the priest will, oh, um, this is just general confessional, my son. Uh, is there any reason that you need to speak with Father O'Donnell specifically?
Yeah, I feel like we've really built a rapport the last time I was here. So I think I would prefer, like, I don't want to be picky. I know this is for the Lord. So, but like, I feel like I'll be closer to the Lord if it's him.
I mean, the priest will say, that's fine. Let me see if he's available, and he
Hmm.
will come into the confessional um in a few minutes if he is.
All right.
And you hear
Oh,
the door you hear the door close, and like, you wait a couple minutes, and Father Donald comes in, and you requested me specifically, my son.
yes. Hello. It's Victor from Hargrave House, Father Don.
Ah, yes, yes, yes. I see. How may I help you? Did you want to confess first, and then
Uh, yeah. How does this go? Um, hello, Father. This what my last confession. Think it was cut short at the Vatican. There was things happening. There were I forget if it was devils or demons. They're basically the same thing most of the time. Um, so like 3 years ago, I'm sorry.
and he just kind of like, sounds like he's fumbling a little bit.
Mm,
Um, well, that is a unique confession, for certain.
mm.
Um, and then he makes the ritual passes, and and then prescribes. It's like, well, you are doing the work as prescribed, and all I can say is, it's like, if you feel any guilt for such actions, then the Great Father will forgive you.
Mm.
And maybe he says, like, say three Our Fathers, and then, like, your debt is quit.
Mhm.
And yeah, and what else would you ask of me?
Father, I don't know how much experience you have with these sorts of supernatural occurrences tied to the church. Um, might even not be this particular religion. But my question for you is, I know this man who has gone through a very difficult change. And have you ever heard of any instances of someone praying so fervently, so with so much ardor for their belief that they would change it's to something completely different? My question is, can you pray so hard you become like a giant insect?
You can see his silhouette do a double take when you say that. Oh, well, and he thinks about it, and let me grab a clue. And he contemplates it, and all right. So he says, faith can make those who believe change themselves, more likely for the better, but changing into something completely different. A creature, an insect. And he kind of contemplates this and spouts off something that you wouldn't normally hear him say. It's almost like something that he memorized, but for no real good reason. And this is the clue. He says a biblical line. The locusts have no king, and yet all of them go out in rags. As he thinks about, like, what you're saying.
Mhm.
And then he, like, thinks on it again, and this will be your second clue.
Should I roll information?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Mm, I think it's got to be straight reason because, yeah, you're not
Okay.
having to keep calm and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think as he like spouts off these things, Victor will try to cross-reference his Armstrong Monster Manual
Mm,
as he does this.
right.
So 3d6. That's gonna be an 11,
Okay.
and I will bump it for the 12.
Astronaut clue ahoy. All right. So you already got the first clue with the locusts, but I think he mentions perhaps you think me wandering in my thoughts, but I don't question when certain things will disparate thoughts come into my mind because I believe that is part of my faith, changing me into something that is more than what I know as a person. My God, my belief brings me to patterns thinking. It reminds me of second clue incoming. It reminds me of the knuckle bones of Saint Gratis of Aosta, a patron saint against storms and animal attacks. This just sounds like this is something that. Remember Daniel? He was one with beasts, even when set upon by those that would tear him apart. Faith stopped them from attacking him. Perhaps faith of this particular person brought about change that even affected him physically. It is what I believe.
I thank you for your time, Father. And I guess I really do have this one thing really racking at my guilt. Father, is it a sin for one to, if someone's partner were to want to have a child in the future, is it a sin to not be a part of that just because you're afraid?
Where does your fear come from, my son? Concern for your partner. Concern for that or whom is not yet here. Or fear of yourself.
I've given it a lot of thought, Father, and really is a concern regarding legacy.
Wait. One such you who carries a burden from the last generation. Hmm. Do you not wish to uphold the traditions and teach your own offspring sometime in the future? These are not questions that you need to answer to me, but maybe thinking upon them will help focus on why you do not wish to further it along. I don't think it's sin to think such thoughts. You are considering what it is worth to carry on and teach this particular legacy. It's almost like he's not even talking to you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Uh,
he's like kind of like again saying these things like, as if someone else is guiding him. Or perhaps talking about his own situation. Who knows? But I mean, like, yeah, it's like it's outside of him now, and I think you
Mm-hmm.
will feel like maybe an atavistic shudder going
Yeah.
through your spine because
Mm-hmm.
you realize it's like you're not just talking to him anymore.
Yeah.
So
And Victor will just go, "You're very good at this, Father. I can tell that you've helped a lot of people." And Victor will stand up. He doesn't know how this works, so he will leave a tip at the windowsill, and we'll leave.
and I think as you leave, I think you will smell, and you don't know where it's coming from even, but I think you will smell the overpowering smell of rotting flowers. Sweet, but then sickly and decaying, as if there's rot underneath. And when you look around, there is no fresh flowers to be seen, or
Mhm.
or even dead ones. You are seeing a freshly polished cathedral.
And as Victor smells the flowers, looks around, he walks back off into London. I think he touches each of his hatchets and will say to himself, "The only thing better than one grand hunt is two happening at the same time." And he walks back into the city.
Nice. Okay. All right. Let me give Lord James a scene before we take a break, okay? So, Lord James, are you and Sir Antony heading over to the boarding house where Tulsida and Harsh are? Or, yeah.
Yep, that's the plan, so that we can get um Sir Anthony's eyes on this transformation and get his expert opinion.
Okay.
Uh, and I'll mark a box for that.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say that as you are heading over to the, um, sorry, to the boarding house, I think you're going to see what looks like a very gaily striped carriage. It's like festooned with ribbons, and it looks like it has um a large box a human-sized box with strange proportions. Like it's the same height, excuse me, length as a human, but then like maybe it's a little bit wider, like maybe to accommodate a strange shape. And it's in this striped carriage that's driven by rather fancy dress wearing folk. There is someone on the box next to the driver. She's wearing a sleeveless robe. You can see she has tattoos on starting from her forearm going up her biceps and like into her shoulders, and they look like swirls. You can't quite see a anything discernible in her tattoos except that they're like swirling clouds. And yeah, she seems to be talking animatedly to this person who's driving the carriage, but they look like they've come from the boarding house as you pass.
I've got a great one-liner that we can take a break on that I say to Sir Anthony.
Okay.
We don't even get out of the carriage. If I see this,
Uh-huh.
I turn to Sir Anthony and I say, despite this morning's conversation with Victor Armstrong about the horrors of London's entertainment industry, it looks like we're going to the circus, old boy.
Lord James, are you having the carriage like turn around and follow the Okay. All right, cool.
Assuming that's where they're going, and
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
the clue that I got from the vulnerable move was while we were riding, Lord James sees a poster posted for the Cirque Nationale that shows that they also have a human-sized spider.
Okay.
The puppet, I don't know. Let's go see.
Who knows? Let's find out. All right, awesome. I think in the carriage is like, you ask the driver to turn. You like Sir Anthony will turn to you and say, "So it's all above board, James. I mean, is this something that you think has relevance to what we were going to find?"
We got a tip that that this circus had already purchased this poor man has been changed into a giant bug. I've not seen it, but I trust Victor's assessment that it's not a man in a costume, but it's in fact a person who's been changed into an insect. What could cause that, do you think? Prayer is what one thinks, but maybe the circus has something.
Rare. Really? I mean, I've heard of experimentation. Some kind of strange magics, even. But never have I heard of. He wanted to become an insect? That seems rather strange, to say the least. And coming from me, that is quite the word to use. Interesting. And I think as you're making your way, like you're following with the cart, I think this is where you will come upon the grounds where the Cirque Nationale has put up their tent pole essentially, and you see what looks like the preparations for mini fireworks getting ready to be set off when it's nighttime. There's As you pass through this throng that is getting things set up, you smell aromas of carnival fare swimming through the crowd, and there seems to be tents of different colors and striping or design. And then outside of each little tent, it looks like placards are starting to go up, painted placards of what will be there. So there's a menagerie of sideshows and stalls, giving way to this grand tent that they're getting ready to erect. Paint the scene. The circus is reminiscent of a beehive. What about the behavior of the patrons attending or the workers themselves make you think this?
So, you know how circus workers tend to have red and white horizontal striped shirts? These workers have black and yellow stripes going around them, sort of construction safety yellow that makes them resemble worker bees.
I'm going to say that when they see each other, this is not the patrons as much as the employees. They make they almost communicate like unspoken, where they'll like arch an eyebrow and nod and go and do certain tasks without talking.
The circus is reminiscent of a beehive. What about the behavior of the patrons attending or the workers themselves makes you think this?
I think we see that a very unique thing about this circus is that you are um like given flowers um as you enter the circus, kind of like in your lapel. And the the patrons, they just think they're flowers, but to the workers, they mark the patrons who are the most rich, the most, which ones are trouble, which ones are probably people we need to kick out at some point. But um, by using the flowers, the workers know which ones they can harvest the easiest from all the others.
And I think as perhaps the carriage can go no further, so you're going to have to go out on foot. I think this is where these workers will attend to you and offer to pin some flowers upon your lapels. And yes, they are with very ornate face paint, as well as wearing very rich robes or acrobatic outfits, depending on who's approaching you. Brilliant flowers for brilliant patrons. Please let us put these on you as the mark of welcome guests.
Go right ahead.
Yeah. And I think this is where one in acrobatic wear is looking full into your face with this very wide smile as she's pinning like this particular flower on your lapel. And then her companion, who seems to be in, I guess, performance robes, is doing the same thing to Sir Anthony. And yes, she will kind of like gesture behind her and say, please, please, welcome, welcome. See what we have on available. There will be the best show, a grand show later on this evening. Promises to be absolutely revealing. It's almost like she's taking in the scent of the flower that she pinned on you as she
Uh,
gestures behind.
uh, Lord James looks over at Sir Anthony and does the see what I'm talking about? This is what Victor and I were talking about. And so is there anybody that looks like they're in charge?
The woman who was with the swirling
Oh,
tattoos. Yeah, I mean, like, you see
We're going over to where they're unloading the box, I guess.
Yeah, they're unloading the box. She's there, and she's put on this very grand top hat. That towers. She's also very tall, by the way. But I mean, like, she also puts on this top hat that just registers as being above everyone here, essentially.
Queen Bee, oh boy. So, uh, he approaches and says, "Pardon me, the contents of this box contains a giant insect that we have to ascertain if it's a danger to the citizens of London before it is put on display."
Oh, look at you. Welcome guests indeed. Well,
We're here on business. We're not here
oh,
to enjoy the
as
show.
as am I, dear sir. And she, like, from her vest, from her satin vest, she pulls out what looks like a sheaf of paper, very official looking paper, and saying, "This is my business. This is my contract with Arthur Upward to purchase, well, to make the purchase of a lifetime." So,
I'm not.
and
I'm
no
not.
one can have sneak peeks just yet. We have to erect the spectacle. We are creating quite the act.
This is not a.
Insects on display.
This is not a sneak peek.
Yes, it is. If I reveal it to you, then, well, the throng over there will want to, of course, follow suit and demand to, well, be privy to this beautiful, beautiful exhibit that we will have. And then where's the fun in that? In fact, misfits are welcome at this circus. And she looks you up and down really carefully before she swings on the top hat and with a flourish says, "You would shine if you joined us." What do you do?
He's thinking about killing her right now. Is what he's thinking about. He's thinking about just killing her.
And she's like, as she's laughing, like she'll also kind of like stick out her tongue, like, like that the way that some people will stick out their tongue when they laugh. You will see that her tongue is split. And she flicks it at you like a serpent.
Yeah. What do you think, Sir Antony?
He is actually kind of struck dumb as he's looking around and he's looking very closely at this woman, like as if he's enthralled. And then he, like, there's like some of the performers that are kind of like, swirling around, maybe chattering in his ear or buzzing in his ear. And, just like, welcoming him. But he has his eyes strictly on this woman. I'm so sorry. I'm very rude. I am Manasa Nitya, the circus owner and ringmaster of this beautiful, beautiful suck.
Well, here's what's going to happen. Your contract is about to be null and void, and we're about to shut down this whole circus in just a few minutes if you don't comply. And this is your final warning.
Shutting us down. Final warning.
I think I'm going to do it
Oh,
anyways. I think I'm
what a
going to do it
treat.
anyways. I think I'm going to do it anyways, whether you comply or not.
You can try. and all of her workers will do a very strange pattern dance where some of them will go clockwise, some of them will go counterclockwise around you all, and just smile with the same type of smile that she has.
Can I do a move or something?
Day move? What do you
Yeah, I
exactly
think I'll do
want
a
to
day
roll?
move.
Yeah.
For the threat to threaten her.
Okay.
And
So I would say presence with this.
I think I'm all out of
What do you think will go wrong if you fail or lose your nerve?
that. They'll whisk the crate away without
Mhm.
us being able to take a look.
Sure.
Um,
How are you going to enforce your will for this?
well,
To
it's
at
not an
least
idle.
snatch.
It's not an idle threat. Like Scotland Yard can shut this whole thing down until the people's safety has been ascertained. I mean, I can do that. It's not a threat. It's real. All I got to do is you know, pull some strings. He's Lord James Campbell-Hughes is not just some guy off the street. He can do it with his contacts easily. In game mechanics terms, I just check a box. but in this game, in reality, he would just go and make it happen
Right.
to the powers that be.
Okay. Go ahead.
I
Make the
see my
roll.
presence.
Yep.
2. Okay, let's try this dice roller that used to be so horrible to us. How do I do more than one? It's been a while.
You should be able to do tell it to do
Make a
two
complex roll and then
complex
flick
roll
the
2d.
d6 a couple times,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
as well as add or subtract your modifiers.
Yep.
Oh, nice. Oh, cool. I don't remember ever doing that. Okay, and then how do I hit roll? Roll it.
Okay.
That's a straight up 12.
Oh my. All right.
How's that? Oh, 10, 2 5s and a 2.
Okay. All righty. Well, you tell me you have narrative control. Tell me what you do to get the bug box essentially away
I,
from them, at least for a
I'm not
little
trying to get
while.
away. I'm not trying to get it away from. We just want to take a look.
I see.
So Sir Anthony can take a look. And I can get his you know, his opinion if this was ever a person and what could turn
Ah,
what could turn somebody into it.
okay.
So I think she probably recognizes that he's not just some, you know, businessman or competitor, that he's seriously, maybe she even recognizes who Sir James Campbell-Hughes is,
Mm,
and knows that he can cause trouble as the Duke of Kent. So
right.
I think she's just kind of like, okay. And he's not making any efforts to like take the box.
Okay.
He's just wanting to take a look at the creature, or the insect, so that Sir Anthony can see it really.
Okay. I think she contemplates you then, and then she is, hmm, well, I suppose that as long as you're not walking away with my prize, then certainly we can grant you a space to look at it. We are still, of course, in the midst of creating the perfect exhibit. Let's have you come in here in this tent, and then you both can take a look at the glory that will be this featured act. And then she has her people bring bug the bug box into one of the nearby tents. Not the big top yet, but I mean, like, into one of the nearby tents, and kind of lays it down on the ground. And then, please examine what you will, but just know that we will have our spectacle. We will be exhibiting this beautiful fellow. Later.
Why do you keep saying that like you think I'm gonna stop you from exhibiting it?
There have been some that have possibly come by that want to, well, throw their weight around
That's what I'm
and
doing.
just, well, be obtrusive. So just want to make clear that we will allow this, not because you are making your demands.
I'm pretty sure that's why you are. So let's just take a look at this insect and see if it's a threat to the city.
Yeah, Sir Antony at this point will shake himself out of it. And yes, yeah, this should be quite fascinating. And then he takes out one of his journals and well, we'll get ready to make some notes once he does. And whips out his little pince-nez to click onto his nose and take a closer look. Yeah, so you did a day move. I forget, like with Sir Anthony, it's with the occult, right? I mean, like, so he just provides.
Is it
Okay.
paranormal?
Yeah, definitely paranormal. So hold on, keep reveals two relevant clues. Okay, cool. All right, just wanted to make sure I remember what his move was. All right.
I don't remember. I know he has like an area of speciality, and it is occult and paranormal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, quite. Quite. All right. Let's give you your two clues. I'm gonna give like a relevant clue, but it's kind of gross. Um, and then I'm going to give like a weird clue because it's Sir Anthony. So I think when you open up this box, what they've done, or you don't know what they've done actually. Let's just say that. Like, you both lean in and then you realize that there's not so great matter in here, along with harsh. It has a smell of, yes, the toilet. Because like along the sides, like, you see in there and like, he's in his bug form, but he looks like at rest. I mean, not dead, but just like slowly breathing and just kind of like, making himself bulbously comfortable. Um, and then like around the edges of the box constructed to hold him, you see that there's dung beetles that are making homes for themselves, like along the sides. That's one of the clues. And and Sir Anthony's just kind of like alternately looking and taking his pince-nez on and off as he's trying to figure out, like, is this supposed to symbolize the marrying of insect and human? It, this is not dung beetle, of course, but this is just why? Did your friend did Mr. Armstrong say this is the conditions that he was found in?
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even. Hey, Mads, for this, if this was a TV show,
Yeah.
uh, would the special effects for the insect person, would it be animatronics or would it be CGI?
I think you don't necessarily take it all in. So maybe it's for this particular setup, the lighting is dim enough that you can see it. And then like you can spot, like in shafts of light in the tent, you can spot the dung beetles. But I mean, like when you're looking at it, it looks like it could be like, you know, uh animatronics and stasis, basically, right? I mean, like somewhat realistic looking and a practical effect, like not computer generated.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because like, you guys are looking at it, and I think even Sir Antony's like, carefully just touching a little bit. With a handkerchief. And then something strange happens as he's figuring this out, and he's writing some notes in his journal, but then like also going and checking out um Harsh in all sorts of different angles, like maybe going to his head and like kind of looking at the antennae without touching them, and then maybe going around to the side and then contemplating the carapace or whatever, um, of his form. But as he's doing this, you notice that he's transitioning through life stages before your very eyes, where when he's on one side, maybe over by the head, he looks like he's much, much younger, as if he's a teenager. And then when he moves to go to the side in a shaft of light, you see he's his usual self. And then when he comes round again to a different side, then you look at him and a shaft of light shows you that he has aged incredibly in the last second. And then when he moves again, you realize he's back to normal. But that is your other clue. A side character transitions through all life stages, child to man to elder. Yep. And those are your clues.
I don't think we probably even thank the ringleader. I think at some point when Sir Antony looks like he's finished, we just turn and walk out.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe like, well, you don't notice it, but the camera will pan to her, and as one, she's in the front, of course, like, with her top hat, and swirled tattoos in the sun, and she kind of like is in front, and then her people are like in some kind of weird formation behind her, and as one, they all turn to watch you two leave, still with the flowers in your lapels.
We probably ditch those as we get back into the carriage. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's the last shot as the carriage rolls away. It's like the two flowers like on the ground. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, great. So we close out of that. Do you feel that you have gotten enough for day phase, or do you want to have another scene elsewhere? What do you think?
Would at
Because
the
we could spend a
very
lot of time like answering questions or one question, whatever you want to do.
I would at the very least like to do the scene of Whitmore going to drop off the note
Oh,
to
yes. Yes.
to the Johnstons' or to the Opium
Nephews.
Den's nephews.
Absolutely.
Jenny Johnston's nephews, not the nephews of an opium den.
Yes. Yeah, I think well, they recognize you from obviously previous visits and such, and it is good to see you, Mr. Whitmore. Are you here to partake?
That is yet to be determined. I'm more so here as a messenger.
Oh, from
The
whom?
late from your aunt, the late Miss Johnston. She when we Whitmore thinks for a moment, trying to figure out if he wants to explain that he's been talking to their dead aunt. Uh, when we were here investigating the unfortunate occurrences, she made of note in case the worst were to come that I were to pass along a message from her to you.
What kind of
Some
message?
A message in a language I cannot read, so it would be safe with me. But it is a family heirloom from your parents. And Whitmore would hand over the note written poorly in Chinese.
Um, he will call over his brother, and they are, yeah, they are big early men. So nobody will fuck with them for sure. And I think they will look at the note together. They unfold it. First, they're kind of scratching their heads like, what is this? And then they realize what it says. And they both look at you as one, like, over the top of the note. This was not written by our aunt. How do you know this?
The members of Hargrave House have a certain connection to the supernatural. I'm sure you ran into Lord James Campbell-Hughes and his incredible eye and sword for deduction. Or you've heard of the Armstrong family with their weapons said to be coated with what can only be described as a righteous miasma. It would appear that the legacy of Hargrave House has begun to rub off on me. Miss Johnston, Jenny herself, passed along this message to me shortly after her passing.
And both of them, both of their eyes, like, like widen at that. And the brother will say, then I think you would appreciate seeing what our aunt has left for us, giving the information in the way that she did.
I would both be honored, and it would sate my curiosity immensely.
And I think this is where they will, talk to their employees to just like kind of watch over the place. And they like, they will bring you to the back and through the offices down into the basement, where you remember looking at the bodies before. And it wasn't that built up then, and it's just cooler than the upstairs, of course. But I think when they take you into the back of this particular basement, you realize that there is brick there, as if they've built it up, tried to make it more solid, and they start to chip at one of the bricks, or like maybe like one of them's counting, and then the other will kind of indicate, like, from the note, like what, like a random brick to you, and they will start to chip at it with maybe a rock hammer or something. And when they take out a few of these bricks, they pull out a bag. And mind you, again, the bricks have been there for quite some time, like not freshly put together. So yeah, it's been there for quite some time, and they both look at you and look at the bag, and they slowly open it up as one. And I imagine they brought a lantern, of course, for this, because it's dark down here. And in the light of the lantern, when they open up this bag and pull out what's in there, you see a beautiful lacquered box. And one holds it, the other one opens it. And inside the lacquered box looks like some kind of, not statue, but it's flat. It's, well, flatter, but it looks like you see the shine of jade, and it is what looks like a fantastical creature. In this dim light, you can't tell what it is, but I mean, like, it is a fantastical creature, sinuous, terrible, but beautiful at the same time, in jade. in this. This is our family's crest. She said she was going to give it to us when our parents would be here, but they could not. And she said she was going to tell us where she put it, but she never did. Until now. Thank you, Mr. Whitmore. This.
You are both most welcome. I'm glad that I could return your crest to you.
One of them will ask you, where is she now?
She's still still in the Limehouse district. We last spoke walking up and down the market street. She was looking at placing an order, and Whitmore would do his best to list the items that she had tried to purchase, mentioning that perhaps you can honor her memory by turning those into the enticing noodle soup she was planning on making. And Whitmore, oh, go ahead.
I mean, like, they both kind of like nod at each other and smile, but their smile is kind of capped by maybe a tear or two that
In
both
that,
of them shed.
in that case, if you've got some time, I'd love to at least attempt this poor Englishman's attempt at making her soup for you. And Whitmore, if they'll allow it, would like to go down to the market, purchase all of the items to make this noodle soup, and try his ever-living damnedest to call Jenny back so she can teach him how to make the soup. But otherwise, Whitmore will give it the old Hargrave House try.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to make that, like, the maybe the ending of your scene, maybe you do successfully get all the ingredients, and then maybe she's at your side, like almost being snarky about it, like, not that way, you don't cut it that way, whatever, and then she's just gonna have you prepare the soup as best as you can, because, like, she's trying to tell you in, like, dash of this and, like, a bunch of that and all this kind of stuff, and then yeah, but they're both very grateful when you bring up this steaming soup, and happily, will push a bowl towards you as well. And yeah, maybe that's where we end the scene, with you supping with the nephews. So, okay. So if that is the end of your day phase, then we will go into dusk. So to start this off, anything that has to be resolved playbook wise, I'm gonna have to have Doc. You know what? I'm not gonna worry about it. Should I make him worry about it? Let me think. Yeah, because we've done it before. So quickening. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to try and do for dusk, if it's prescribed for dusk?
They work.
Okay.
Given that I think we're all set on personal quarters items at the moment, and Whitmore intentionally did not spend a lot of time at Hargrave House today.
Mm-hmm.
I learn something about interesting about an active threat.
Okay. What?
A question to the group: if we're trying to answer the question for Creature of Cremorne, are we happy with 6 clues? Okay. In that case, I'm still curious about the West End Wraith. And so my question to you is, what is the Wraith's favorite performance that's been put on at the Palais de Gaieté?
Ooh. Hold on. You find out through rumor or just kind of like hearsay, whatever. I think you find out that the favorite performance or seemingly favorite performance is a sketch they'd done where Lady Pipewell would take a stack of what was essentially love letters and she would open them up and then start to read them, but not just read them, but like she would create songs to convey the emotion of the particular love letter, whether it be very mild and just very like sing song, but then the really dramatic ones of like, oh my love, my heart, like death shall not keep us apart, and like, and just like go on. But I mean, it was a very affecting performance, and I think, insofar as to go that at the end of this performance for this particular sketch, there would be silence, and then of course, like the standing ovation, and red roses would appear behind Lady Pipewell that she would discover on stage when she turned you know, to leave when she finished the sketch. All right. So the clue is a stack of love letters tied with red ribbon that I don't believe is in here already. So yeah. Okay, cool. All right. That's day work. Anybody else got anything that they need to do for dusk? Paint the scene question about Hargrave House. The ballroom. Hargrave House once hosted a ball for a group of visitors from the Fey realm. Even today, there are subtle reminders of that night in this room. What are they? And don't forget, you can put your answers in the rooms at Hargrave House.
It seems like we've done this one, but we haven't, have
Did
we?
you? No,
I
don't
don't
think
see it on
so.
the list.
No.
Hmm.
But also too, I mean, like, for numerous plays that we've done on the between, it wouldn't surprise me if, like, we
I
all
don't see it
thought
on.
we did this one, but we didn't.
I don't
I,
see it.
I
Yeah,
just
not for
added it
not
to
for
the
this
bottom.
not for this campaign. What?
I just added it as an entry to the
I'm
bottom, so
I'm
we
gonna
have not done
say
it.
Yeah.
this will help with our the namesake of this campaign. I'm gonna say that all the mirrors have they were once and they're all over the walls, right?
Mhm.
Uh, to make the ballroom look even bigger and grander. There's mirrors everywhere, but they've all been darkened from the effect of the Fae dancing here, and so they still have your reflection, but it's all darkened.
There is a spot where people would leave coats and things like that. And there is one coat that no one can touch or lift or really leave. Rumor has it that this is a coat made of winter melancholy, and no one really knows how to interact with it enough to like take it or clean it up or anything like that.
It is actually impossible to sit in the ballroom. Anytime someone tries to sit, their chair is replaced with a 3-legged stool that disappears and laughs, much akin to Robin Goodfellow in A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Sorry, I'm smiling because I'm thinking of season 1 of Stars and Suns. Anyway, okay. So before I ask the usual question, What are you doing for night phase? What are you thinking about answering for this, point of our session?
I've got a
Answering
pretty,
one or all?
I've got a pretty good theory on the Creature of Cremorne Garden, what they want.
Okay, all
I could
right.
pitch. I don't know if anybody
Sure.
has another one.
Let's see. Resolve the threat by luring the creature to you, then destroying it, or convincing it to go back to wherever it came from. Your choice. So, if it is real, what does the creature want? Let's review the clues. A rubbery smell in an unusual place. A stack of overdue bills. A piece of scrimshaw depicting a fish-like man rising from the water. A rumor that Madame Tussauds is creating a horrors of the sea waxwork. An unusual substance smeared on a surface, smelly oil, and a book of sailors' hymns. This is a complexity 4.
So my theory is that it wants an idol that was taken from it by the Madame Tussauds folks for their Horrors of the Sea waxwork display. It's some kind of idol for these fish folk, and to throw the creature off because they know it belongs to the creature. Uh, they've put this oily substance all about the Cremorne Gardens so that the creature can't like find where it's at. And then the stack of overdue bills shows that that they've really been putting a lot of money on this, and it's very important that they're able to pull off this Horrors of the Deep show. Otherwise, it could break them. And then what does that leave me? Scrimshaw depicting, is that, yeah. Yeah, that's just where somebody has like done a portrait, or maybe it could also be from the exhibit. And maybe there's a whole necklace and this is just one piece that's fallen off. And then the Book of Sailor Hymns is the only one I don't really, unless they're not really sailor hymns, I don't know.
It's the Book of Sailor Hymns actually is another part of Madame Tussauds' exhibit. They commissioned a choir to sing these songs at the opening ceremony of Horrors of the Sea. And the Book of Hymns serves as a taunt for the creature.
Amazing. Okay. That does use up all 6 clues. So you could be rolling on a +2 for that.
What do you think, Paul?
Sounds good.
I just question as to what the actual act to, I guess we lure the creature with the Book of Songs.
Mm.
Or we go get the idol and give it back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either or.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But we
we
can still
break
use the book of we can still use the Book of Hymns to like sing to bring the creature out and then give them the idol. And
Yeah.
So we break into Madame Tussauds to steal the idol back.
Interesting. Okay.
Everybody
Yeah,
I
like
like it.
get your bandit mask ready.
Not the last time, and like not the first time, and not the last. What'd you roll? +2?
Has anybody rolled yet?
No, I believe it is your idea.
I will roll it.
+2. What did you get?
This dice roller is like on fire for me
It
tonight.
is so good.
Oh, yes.
It gave me a 13.
Jesus
Oh.
H. All right. So basically, there's no problems with that.
As a matter of fact, the creature's name is Arthur, and
All right. Yeah.
he's very thankful. And
Very good.
Sorry, I wasn't on mute for that cackle.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
I've been known to yeah.
thank you, dice roller. I'm sorry I said mean things about you.
Oh my God. Now that you said that. Okay,
I'll
so
bring my dice next time.
resolve the threat by luring the creature to you, then destroying it or convincing it to go back to wherever it came from. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, like with a 13, really no problems on that. I mean, if anything, it's like, if you really want to cut to the chase, you could just do a narration because you got other problems. Who knows? Let's find out. So, all right. So you're all set for that particular threat. Is there any other questions that you want to try and answer tonight? You know, to get you ready for night phase or next time.
So that does beg the question of, are we answering the question for the Beadle, or are we attempting West End Wraith with rolling flat?
Does the Beadle
Wait.
unlock another question?
Yes, it
It's just,
does.
yeah, it unlocks another question. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should be able to do that one. At least do that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you pick your well, minimum one clue for a 2
Mhm.
complexity, and then like, you whatever you wanna incorporate into a theory. Did an experience at the circus lead to the Beadle's transformation, or was his transformation a result of his own prayers?
Hmm.
So assume that the big top was already formed. I mean, like the tent that they were trying to put this in was
Mhm.
like a different tent. And the menagerie of sideshows was also already erected. So they were taking you through a gauntlet of here's all of our attractions, and then the big one, the new one, is going to be happening tonight. So, yeah. So, did an experience at the circus lead to the Beatles' transformation, or was his transformation a result of his own prayers? For complexity 2, how many clues do you want to use? Anybody got a
If
theory?
I feel like there's like the clues is that kind of thing where the clues are like clearly split between the two theories.
Okay.
So we can kind of decide, do we want it to be the prayers or do we want it to be the circus? I think would make it easier to think about.
Given that both you, Paul, and Daniel are the ones that have gathered all of these
Mhm.
clues, I leave it up to you. It does not matter to me one way or the other.
Yeah. Do we want to fuck up the circus, Daniel?
Fuck up circus.
I if we go that route, they seem like they're legit, don't they?
Yeah, they seem fine
Seem
for
cool.
sure.
It's just
Yeah.
if we go the circus route,
Yeah.
um, then we could say when
Mhm.
when Victor experienced that divine presence of Ganesha,
Mhm.
we could say that his prayers did like something. I mean, after he got turned into the insect, because this Hindu god has had his own transformation with the elephant head. Um,
Mm.
Maybe he answered his prayers to like maybe he was like checking in. But so we could use that clue and it still not be prayers is what caused it, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So we could use that one and then almost any of the other ones.
Present.
Did we get more
Yeah.
than
Well, what puts the finger on the scale for one or the other, right? I
Uh,
mean, like, okay, so you've
eh,
got the base here, but then like now
eh,
you need one to really push it into this is what it is.
the
the
animal at the zoological gardens is where the circus is, right? On the grounds of that.
Let me check. Sorry.
Whatever.
if anything, it could just be the spider thing. It could also clearly be a like hints of it being a person also. Like maybe Sir Antony saw the spider on the way out and was like, that was also a person at some point in
So
time.
that so the circus has done this before.
Before, yeah.
Ah,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I was when I made up that clue, I was thinking they were gonna feed this guy to the spider, but
Oh,
Oh
but
no.
the spider could be another person too. So I like
That
yeah,
would be such a spectacle. Oh boy.
it would.
You are correct.
Um,
The Cirque Nationale is housed in London Zoological Gardens. Yes.
yes.
that's 3 right there, easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That gives
All
us
right.
a +1.
Nice, nice. All
Mhm.
right. So +1.
We want it to be a +2.
I'm not rolling this time. I can't after a 13. I can't roll.
That's true. Do we want to save some of these clues because we can also use the
I don't know
cat
what the next question is.
this the side character transitions through all the life stages. That could just be like, yeah, weird shit happens at this circus. There's something definitely
Definitely
like,
wrong. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, okay. So,
So, but if we wanted if we wanted to use a fourth clue, the biblical line, "The locusts have no king, yet all of them go out in ranks."
Oh,
A
yeah.
circus does not have a king, it has a ringleader.
Yes.
And they
Mm,
send out each of the performances in ranks, one at a
Okay.
time. First the strongmen, then the acrobatics, then the
Yes.
lion tamers.
I love it.
And so the ringleader, the circus comes in and devours, not having a king, but having ranks.
Yes. That's
Nice.
good.
Okay. I love it.
Great.
Okay. So plus
Great.
2 then.
All
Mhm.
right. I'll roll
Wait,
this
wait,
one.
so just before you do, like, so we're saying experience at the circus, yeah?
Yes, experience at the
Yes.
circus. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
All right. All right. That is gonna be a 8. So it is the circus at the very least.
Yep. Circus the cause.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Too bad. They just seem like good people.
No, you're right. There's the top hat was really what sold how
Oh
grounded
my
they were as
Them,
people.
them all turning in cult-like unison.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely
So
sells
Every
those
time
clothes.
Mad said, we just like to be happy. And
Yeah.
Oh, we know how people love bees. Okay. If the circus is related to his transformation, what circumstances led to his transformation? That is the question that you must answer next. Resolve the threat by infiltrating the Cirque Nationale and ensuring such circumstances never affect another Londoner again, whether by force or persuasion, with a complexity 4. So, yeah. What
like
circumstances
the
led to his
fireworks are just laid out there for us.
I still
So,
have some dynamite left, so we should be good.
all right. So right now you have 3 clues on the board for this for complexity 4. So, whatever. Yeah, you can, I mean, at least it's Circus's fault. And then do you want to do anything with the West End Wraith clues? Or you want to leave that alone for right now? That's up to you.
That's pretty much Whitmore.
So you have to answer the question. If the
Mhm.
Wraith seeks to help, are they trying to protect the target from an imminent danger or right an old wrong? That is a complexity 6, and you currently have four,
Six.
6 clues. So is there any sense that you can make of the clues that are presented right there?
Yes, I think I can. The
Okay.
question, though, is if we want to wait for like one more for a +1. Because the Wraith is most likely trying to protect the theater itself from imminent danger. Because
We
we've what
we haven't sent the American yet to the theater. So it might be cool to send Doc at night to the
Oh
theater.
God. Yeah. Oh, you are very right. Doc would absolutely love trying to fight a Wraith. Yeah, we'll wait on that then, because
We'll get another clue. We'll get the American in there to see.
Okay. Resolve the threat by neutralizing the harm to the Wraith's target or otherwise dissuading the Wraith from their actions. So, oh, I can't wait to see
so
how
yeah,
this gets put together
we're
after
gonna
one more clue. At
we're
least one
gonna
more clue.
we're gonna let Doc fight a ghost.
My God, this is great. You guys are
I
funny.
really like the Wraith.
Oh,
And to see because you two have both encountered the Wraith, and Doc and I have not, but I think it'd be fun for Doc
Mhm.
to go head to head with the Wraith.
Oh, if
He's a
Victor
showman
was,
because Doc is a showman as well.
I know,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, if Victor was frustrated, oh my God, like,
Mhm.
who
We're
knows?
Mads, what we're really setting up here is everyone else absolutely hates the play de Gaieté, and so the threat just gets resolved by Whitmore having a quiet sit-down tea with the Wraith, talking
Yeah.
out their feelings.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And only other question, I mean, it's for next time, was like, do we just not resolve Cremorne Gardens
Oh, we
on
can do
the
that next time. We'll do that at night phase.
or like, do we choose not to just resolve it at all so that we don't get a new mystery? So we stick at 3. That's the only other question.
Hmm.
I
Ooh.
think we also have to ask Mads that particular question of Mads, do you want to prepare a final
Yeah.
threat.
Also,
Oh,
yeah. Also,
I'm not. Like I said, I'm always game for anything. I mean, like,
yeah.
if you leave room, you only have one more
Yes.
mastermind clue. My
Yeah. And the
God.
thing is, I'm pretty sure the game says you can just give us that if you want to.
I could. I
Yeah.
could.
Yeah. I think that's what
I
I did
mean,
for my campaign. I was just like, fuck it. Here, take it.
well, okay, well, here's my question for you. I'll put it right
Hmm?
back on your shoulders. Do you want another threat to deal with after all these are done? Or do you
Mm.
want to go? You're gonna have to give me like a week or so to get the mastermind threat ready because I mean, again, like, do you feel that, after all these, you guys will be ready to go to finish? So, I mean, I'm game. I'm game for either. I mean, like, I have, you know, one or two more threats that I can look at. But if you're ready, like, if you feel like after all this that you're gonna be ready to go,
I I
I'm
think I think
happy
I
to indulge.
I think I would at least like one more day phase where all four of us are here before transitioning into the end game, but that would just be me.
What we could do, Mads, in
Mhm.
my answer to the question where I got a 13,
Yeah, yeah.
mastermind will reveal themselves that night. So we could use that as a clue when the mastermind reveals themselves.
And we'll still have like the day phase at like after this night at the this day phase and also like probably two more day phases also because we won't be able to resolve all of them yet. We'll still have one more night at the very least to resolve one more.
Yes, that is true. Because yeah,
Mhm.
you only answered Creature of Cremorne and the Beadle. Or yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, because we can
Yeah.
only
Mhm.
resolve one tonight. I think the next night phase. So we'll have at least two more day phases, I imagine. Or like one more full day phase, I think, or
Yeah,
something.
they're like, and again, you can push that day phase however you want to do it because I mean, me, it's like, unless by some miracle you guys get the day phase done really quickly, never done it, maybe once or twice, then, the two phases are gonna get separated. So day into dusk and then night into dawn. So, yeah. And really, what? The only one that's really at resolution level is Creature of Cremorne. So you still want to do some more work for Beadle and definitely want to do at least one more clue for West End Wraith. So yeah, I mean, it's very possible. And as you said, because of the 13, we could, like, just her coming into the Cremorne Garden thing could totally, like, spark a clue, which would be the end of new threats being introduced. Yeah. So happy to indulge. Is that what we're thinking? It's like, how we're gonna go. So given that, let's clarify. What are people intending on doing for night phase? Night phase intentions here.
Bandit mask. Or I could also mark a box and I could also get Scotland Yard to help us go get the idol. And then it's not a smash and grab like we have done in the past. Instead, we just have Scotland Yard do it, and then we take it and have the scene with the creature.
Okay. Let me make it simple, sure. So Scotland Yard to get idol, hunters to present to creature.
And if Doc's here, he may say no, but I'd love to see him with the Wraith while we're doing
Yeah.
all that. While some
And
of
if
us do it.
if Doc does say no to West End Wraith, Whitmore would do West End Wraith at night. Otherwise, probably accompany Lord James Campbell-Hughes to deliver the statue.
Okay. Oh, Victor, where are you going?
Um, yeah, I feel like nighttime circus is it's a thing we have to at least see at some point. So yes, I'll go to the circus at night.
That's gonna be a good game. That'll be a good session.
Oh my god. Jesus, this is great. Holy crap. Okay. And now I gotta pick up unseen. Oh geez. Let's see what looks good. Oh wait, did he give me one? Let me see. Give me a second. I just want to take a look at this thing. No, he didn't. Okay. I thought he did, but I was wrong. Okay, so let's take it out. We finished night shift at St. Thomas's, so that's done. We are going to do the tarot card reading of Ms. Lydia Wainwright. Oh, you know what? No, hold on. Let me think a minute. I have two favorites, either the Baker's Son or tarot card reading. Help me pick. Which ones do you guys want to do?
I
Night
vote
at the
tarot card reading, and then we do the play one when we resolve West and Wraith.
Nice. All right, great. Makes sense. All right, cool. Love it. Let me mark that for next time. Beautiful. All right, great. That is, whoa. And everybody rolled so damn well. Oh my gosh. Let's see. No Janus mass prompts to be resolved. So let me read off the beginning of the unseen to finish that off. The tarot card reading of Ms. Lydia Wainwright. Lydia Wainwright is a young woman of 19, born into a respectable family. Her mother has commanded her to marry Edgar Thornton, the son of a wealthy industrialist. But her heart belongs to Samuel, a poor but very handsome chimney sweep. Lydia has snuck off into the night to the home of a fortune teller, seeking guidance on the matter. So paint the scene. That is everyone. First two cards, John. Let's make that Daniel. Next two cards, let's make that Paul. And then last card will be Jeremy. So we have that set a little bit early tonight. But again, I don't think you want to try and bust through night phase in half an hour. And I don't want to either. So let's go ahead and end early. And yeah, like some stars and wishes. Yeah, for this particular session. Stars, definitely the winter melancholy for the what's found in the ballroom. Holy crap, I love that. And I also want that coat. So that was beautiful. And then that mask in the very beginning, Jeremy absolutely, oh God, it's so horrible for Whitmore, but I loved it. Oh my gosh, it's just like so fitting. And Daniel, just I love how Lord James is kind of clueless, but I mean, like, he's very focused. So I'm not really sure which one it is, but I love the way you're playing him. So I mean, like, I mean, at this point, I don't think it really matters because either way it works, and I enjoy it very much. So, um, yeah, I'm gonna wait to wishes until afterwards because I'm still contemplating this next session. Holy crap, it's gonna be great. Go ahead, whoever wants to go next.
I got some. My first one was a coat made of winter melancholy, just like Maz. So you scored 2 points for that one there, Paul. Jeremy, I thought going to the ghost for the scoop on the wraith was just perfect. That was really good. And at the exact same time, we've got Paul going to having Victor go to this priest to have a question about, possibility of prayer and spirituality with Beadle. So both of those back side by side were awesome. And then of course Paul leaving a tip. That was great. And Mads, that was I thought a very wise Father O'Donnell. And I'm like, why are we not been going to this guy? What? He's from the first threat, and Yeah, so I really thought he's a really wise character, and for Jeremy and Mads, that was some really nice closure for Jenny Johnson. That was really good, unexpected, and really good to have that closure for that side character. And my wish I've already said. I want to get Doc into the theater.
Mm-hmm. Stars for me. Yeah, star to Mads for it's really difficult to play like a wise or a smart character when you don't feel like that. And I'm just like, oh yeah, those are actually like wise things someone would say. And I struggle with that a lot. I usually just say they say something wise and it's like you think about it and it's like, whoa. It's usually what I do if I can't think of anything. It's very good. Start to Whitmore because while Victor and Lord James Campbell-Hughes are out here being like, we'll get the queen on you. We talk to monsters all the time. Whitmore is out here just like me, like basically just having a very intimate dinner with just like the heart of London is what it feels like. Kind of just like on the ground. Like the really only relatable character out of all of us, really. It's always really cool to see. Um, and star to Daniel, because usually like from all the explorers I've seen, they've kind of just like ticked boxes and kind of just like just acted as like the adventurer trope. But you're like, it's always fun for me to see the explorer really using that like social capital to its advantage and really seeing how like the supernatural weird people don't understand that like yes we'll just use like people to shut you down. It's not even like that's not even magic. It's just like the law. And so that was always fun to see. And wishes for next time. Yeah, I want like yeah, just to have that scene of Titania finally showcasing themselves. Like it'll be when the mastermind threat happens, but then like because Mads has been very good. You've been very good about just like them really just being in the background, and there's been very just like hints here and there of her showing up, but for her to be like, "Hello, I'm your villain. It's time. It's you and it's me against you all," and that's always fun to see. And when the show's finally reached that point.
In order just to switch the star up a little bit, Paul, Victor having a conversation with Father O'Donnell about Victor's own fear of having a legacy and having children, just it drove home some of the more nuance to Victor that well we haven't seen for a little bit, and that was just nice to see. um a star for Daniel. The way that you just manhandled the ringleader of the circus, both so smart and so dumb. I love it. Mads, 2 stars for you, one for the ringleader essentially calling Lord James Campbell-Hughes' bluff was a delight and not a thing I thought I was going to see. And a 2nd star for letting me personally get the closure of what the note in Chinese said, because otherwise that's what I would have been doing in night phase, because that's the kind of mystery that I live for.
I mean, it was
Um,
just delicious to provide that little, you know,
un a
mystery
mystery
taste. Yeah.
unrelated to a threat.
Yeah, it's great. I love those.
Um, as far as wishes go, I'm very interested to see if it is actually Titania that appears for this threat and isn't one of her servants or even Madame Sorokin that appears instead. So I'm very curious about that.
Sorry, just had to make notes. But yeah, this was a great session today, even though it was a little short. So, I mean, enjoy some free time, get some rest, whatever. But hopefully, for next session when we go through night phase, like, just have again another uh leisurely night phase. I know I'm supposed to make them punchy, but I think we're still able to make them punchy. It's okay. And even if it is, we can totally like roll right into another day phase if need be, which is fine. And then like a two-parter day phase, that is not unheard of in my games either. So I'm happy to entertain that as well. So I was very pleased with this session. Thank you guys so much for dealing with my bullshit as usual. And yeah, I look forward to seeing how it goes for next time because um now, hold on. Let's see. Okay, yeah. I mean, is Lord James going to be presenting the idol to the creature? Is that what we're thinking? Okay. All right, great. Play to find out. I love it. I love it. I can't wait because all of this thing that you're laying out is just going to be so much fun. Can't wait. So, you guys have a wonderful week. Happy gaming for anything that you're doing for the rest of the week. And I will see you not next week, but the week after. All right. So have a couple weeks to mull over it and hopefully Bob will be able to join us for that session. All righty. So you guys take care. Thank you so much. Bye.